What's going on? Welcome to Collegiate Football Legion, where we talk everything college football, especially HBCU football. But today we're not talking HBCU football. Today we're talking about Liberty University's quarterback, Malik Willis. Okay, this guy is dynamic. He's a projected first-round pick. Mel Kiper has him ranked in the top 25 of his big board. However, what we're going to do is we're going to look at him. We're going to see what makes him so special, what made him the projected first round pick that he is. And then we're going to talk about that one game that he has this upcoming fall, that one game on the schedule that can propel him to the number one rated quarterback in the class. Over Sam Howell, over Spencer Rattler. All right, so let's get into it.
All right, so here we go. Malik Willis. Let's start with some stuff that makes him special, okay? We all know he threw for 2,200 yards, ranked 27th in the country, and you think to yourself, well, that's not a lot, really, especially not for a number one overall quarterback. But then you look at the fact that he also had almost 1,000 yards rushing. Okay, so now you know that he's a true dual threat quarterback. But now we're going to talk about the things that makes him special. Number one, he allows the routes to develop. Okay, he's very patient in that aspect. He has great pocket presence, great awareness. He doesn't take off. He doesn't get hyper jittery feet. Okay, he doesn't take off at the first sign of trouble when he would have had a legitimate excuse to, considering the fact that his offensive line was one of the worst in the country. Okay, these guys would allow pressure on him before he even started his drop back. So if anybody would have had an excuse to do so, it would have been him. A dynamic runner, man. He's a patient runner, and he has notable vision, okay? Even when he sells his jukes, it takes everything with his body to go into it. His body language, his head fakes, his jabs, everything goes into his selling those fakes, and it works out for him every time. He's a very gifted athlete, okay? And you'll also see he throws catchable balls. So that means even when he misses, it's not a chance for the DB to intercept it, which is what you like to see out of him. He's very comfortable with the ball. He keeps it out of harm's way. Also, his mechanics. A lot of times with dual threat quarterbacks, their mechanics aren't great, so you worry about that when you hear the term dual threat. But with him, the transfer of his weight through his lead leg shows you that he's far ahead of the game. Now, sometimes he'll be off with his accuracy, but that's probably, because he's not consistent enough with his mechanics, which can easily be fixed. Just a slight glitch, but his mechanics are great, okay? As you see him here in the pocket, man, look at him. He's great across the body. What you love about him is that when most young quarterbacks get scared or get nervous in a sign of pressure when they have to make something happen, he thrives in that. He thrives most when he has to make a play happen. You don't see that often in young quarterbacks. Now, he is 6'1", 215, not the biggest size for a quarterback, but not really the worst size either. He can get over.
All right, y'all. Now let's talk about the one chance Malik Willis has next season to be the first quarterback taken off of the board, okay? It's the competition. Last year, he had two games against formidable opponents, right? That scouts will look at as a formidable opponent. It was North Carolina State, and it was Virginia Tech. Now, the North Carolina State game wasn't his best game, okay? In fact, it was a bad one. Very uncharacteristic of him, okay? I think, and yet they almost won. The score was 13-15. He was 13 of 32, 172 yards and 2 touchdowns for 3 interceptions. Very uncharacteristic of him, because if there's one thing that we know about Malik Willis, at least those who do follow him or have been following him, he's very careful with the football. Very. And his throws are always put where the receiver can get it or nobody's going to get it at all. So for him to throw 3 picks that game is just very uncharacteristic. But it happens. Everyone has off nights. My worry with him is that that game will be looked at and count against him more than it should. We all know what happened to Justin Fields last year, okay? He, as a 2-year starter, he only had 2 mediocre games, and it counted against him so much to where his stock was falling where Trevor Lawrence was 1A and Justin was a 1B. He fell to number 11. Good situation for him, I think, but still, shouldn't have happened like that. You know, he was lucky that it just worked out for him and he went to the best situation for him. But back on topic. Yeah, so he had a bad game at North Carolina State, but then a few weeks later, they go to Virginia Tech and he has a day. Okay, I'm talking about he had his way with the Virginia Tech defense. He could do no wrong. They couldn't stop him. Okay, his stats for that game: 20 for 30, 217 yards, and 3 touchdowns through the air, and they end up winning that game 38-35. Go back and look at that tape. He was excellent all around. That should offset the criticism that he'll get from the North Carolina State game, but we know it doesn't work like that. It should though, but being that he's a black quarterback, the margin for error that he has is that much smaller than what his white predecessors. Okay, now next season, he's gonna have one opportunity because looking at the schedule, the downside about going to a smaller school like Liberty is that your competition isn't always what it should be, what it needs to be, for scouts to feel comfortable evaluating you and, possibly taking you. But he has one game against Ole Miss, an SEC opponent. He has to show out. That game if he has the game he has against Virginia Tech against Ole Miss, it'll do wonders for him. But that's all for today, man. Thank y'all for checking out my video. If you like it, please subscribe, man. If you don't even want to subscribe, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Malik. Is he overrated? Is he underrated? Where's he going to get drafted? If you like what I'm talking about, just, let me know. If you agree or disagree, I love the comments. Yeah, man, I'm going to be uploading a lot in the near future. So please, if you enjoy my content, please check back with me. Please subscribe, like, comment, all that. Peace.